something. Welcome to the Political Podcast.
Thank you so much, Owela. It's a great honor to be here again.
Yeah.
This is a brilliant outfit that you have out here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the information that you continue to distribute amongst the Zambian people.
Thank you so much, sir. I want to share something with you. I've got a friend who, when he saw the poster, he called me last night and says, this man saved me back in the day when he was pushing the Zambia shall be saved, when you're all over television. So I was like, and he's very happy that so I'm sure he's listening today.
Okay.
But he says, I'm happy that you're hosting this man, because for me, he's somebody that I treasure quite well.
Let him know that the Lord saved him and used our ministry to bring him closer to the Lord. So we are very thankful that he's still serving the Lord.
Right, no, he is. He is. So again, thank you so much for coming to our platform, and thank you for those kind words. We do our best. Just so that the listeners can be aware, we are live on Beats TV, channel 92, also on our Power FM platforms, that's Lusaka, Kawe, and Livingston. Of course, Yaya FM in Kitwe on 89.7 is also tuned in. So the Copper Belt is watching, and of course, live on Facebook on our page, and I believe your page is also live right now. We'll open phone lines during the show, sometime midway, so that we can bring in our callers. But for now, it starts between you and I, sir. So let's get started. I want to start off with the recent letter from the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, which was addressing the populace with regards our route towards elections. What's your view on that?
First of all, I have had the privilege of looking at the letter from the Catholics, the bishops, and my own assessment suggests that there's nothing peculiar about this particular pastoral letter. It's very consistent with all the pastoral letters they write pre-election time. And I went through it, and every Zambian and every church organization has a responsibility to aspire and to wish for a free and fair and peaceful election.
Right.
And one must understand the spirit of these pastoral letters. I have read these letters for many years now. I've read them when I was in the opposition the first time.
Yeah.
I have read them when I was vice president in government. I have read them when I went back into the opposition.
Right.
I'm now reading them when I'm in an alliance with the party that is in government today.
Right.
And one thing I've learned out of all these years is never to take what people say about governance and state personally. Governance of a nation is not an individual venture. It's a corporate venture. All of us must be participating in making a better Zambia. If Zambia fails economically or socially or morally in any way, it's not the president alone who fails. It's the entire nation.
Right.
It is therefore the responsibility of every church to petition those in government and those in the opposition to ensure that they adhere to the requirements that are going to promote peace, non-violence, and also a free and fair election. So let us look at the pastoral letter through those lenses. It should never be taken personally. I think that the Catholics have a responsibility, just like the Pentecostals have a responsibility. The UCZ has a responsibility to put forward their views on how they would like to see the coming election be conducted. So for me, I don't have a problem with the letter. To me, it appears consistent with all their letters that I've read in the past. Right.
No, thanks for that, Doc. Now, maybe let's get into the New Nation Party. I think I was caught by surprise with the rebranding. Maybe just take us through what led to the rebrand of the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy into the New Nation Party.
Let me start from the end and then I'll go to the beginning. I would like to sort of talk about the status of the New Nation Party. I think I can freely say that at the moment, the New Nation Party has assumed the position of being one of the most stable political parties in the country. One of the best organized political entities in the nation. I can also freely say that as we stand right now, ahead of the 2026 election, the New Nation Party remains the only political party that has actually gone out throughout the country, conducted our provincial conferences as per our constitution, and elected members in every province. So we are represented with elected members across this nation. And there's no other political party right now in the country that has done that. We hope they will do it before the election, but some of them will basically not do it. It may not be a requirement by the constitution. So by that, we can say that the New Nation trajectory of their political organization. And you and I, you well understand that, UNIP today is not the UNIP of 1966.
That's true.
And so we had a lesson to learn from a former ruling party. And we decided to read the mood that MMD as a political party and name had run its race. And it is important for us to make sure that we renew it, we restart it, and we redirect the vision of the movement for multi-party democracy from just being a champion of multi-party democracy to becoming a political party now that agrees that we have achieved the multiplicity of political parties in our country.
Right.
Now it is time to have a totally different vision, and that is now starting to build a new nation. So when we say new nation, we have a totally different view of the infrastructure that we need to put place in ensuring that the New Nation Party begins to create a new outfit of a new Zambia led on totally different principles that are able to make us become one of the leading nations on the continent of Africa.
Right. If you allow me to ask, so from the way it sounds, you had the support of the structures in the MMD, and with that said, was there a transition in terms of membership from MMD members to the NNP?
Here is how it goes.
Yeah.
The amendment or the change of name of our party or any party is a constitutional matter.
Right.
As MMD, we are able to change anything or do anything at the level of the National Executive Committee. But when it comes to changing the name, Nevers Mumba has no power. The National Executive Committee has no power. Only the National Convention can change the name. That is why, although it has been going on for the past 4 years, consultations have been going on throughout the country to ask the members what would they like to do. The decision to change the name was not Nevers Mumba's decision. It was the decision of general membership from across the country in MMD.
Right.
It ended up with a convention which has the power to make that decision and change. And it was unanimously agreed that the name be changed to New Nation Party, and we refire and start afresh in facing the challenges of the current generation. And I must say, Yowela, that there are those people that continue to sentimentally say you can't change the name of MMD.
Yeah, I saw those antagonists, yeah,
of which started democracy. They are not saying anything. They say that about UNIP. You can't change the name UNIP. They brought us independence. There will always be those people who live in the past and want to embrace the past for the rest of their lives. And that's why they're still there. Even UNIP had changed its name. It was ZANC before.
Yeah.
And it changed the name from ZANC to UNIP.
Yeah.
And there are many institutions that have changed names, including the United Nations. It used to be the League of Nations.
Right.
They changed it to United Nations. And even AU
yeah,
used to be OAU.
Yeah.
Now it's AU. And the reason the change of name comes is because there's a reason. The Bible tells us about St. Paul. His name was Saul.
Yeah.
It was later changed to Paul. There's always power and meaning in a name.
Right.
And we think and believe that we do not want to line up with former ruling parties that die from amnesia of thinking that if you change a name, then you have changed your fortunes. Absolutely not. You have actually improved your fortunes because MMD had been attacked from every angle, not just by the outside people, and I don't blame them, but from the inside.
Right.
The power struggles that people started to raise, and they created the current image of MMD, and we had to navigate from it. So the truth legally is there is no more an MMD at the Registrar of Societies. I've heard some people that say, now we are going ahead with the MMD because Nevers has now moved away from MMD. To encourage them, that does not exist.
Yeah.
There's no MMD at the Registrar of Societies. So anybody who says they're organizing themselves in the name of MMD, it's again one of those illegalities that will lead them nowhere. Maybe they're young and they've got time to waste and they can continue with that. But those who really are members of the MMD, and they were represented at the convention. They are now NNP, New Nation Party members.
Right.
And we invite anybody who was MMD before and they have not yet climbed on to make sure that they come on board and let's continue to serve our nation.
Right. New Nation Party, with what you've said, I think it gives hope. But where do you stand as we go into election season? Are you still going ahead with the alliance with the ruling party, or you go at it as New Nation Party on the ballot?
Well, let me be clear. The NNP has been very clear on its position.
Yeah.
MMD has been very clear on its position. The good thing about MMD, now NNP, is that we are very clear as we communicate on everything that we do and all our plans. So those who really would like to know where NNP stands, all they need to do is to go back into what we have said in the past. We announced at the beginning of 2022 that the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy was considering working together with the UPND.
Right.
And we started to forge a relationship with the UPND. President Hakainde Hichilema and myself had several meetings, the two of us, to discuss possibilities of uniting our visions to ensure that we continue to work on the improvement of the economy of our country,
right,
and also to unite this country, regardless of region, tribe. We wanted to make sure that it was a representative alliance.
Right.
So 2024, October, we finally signed the Memorandum of Understanding between the UPND and the MMD. And all that it entails, basically, is that going to the next election this August, these two political organizations are going to join forces together to participate together as an alliance in this coming election. It is for this reason that I had to make a decision first, that in order for this alliance to really be functional, it is better we make a decision quickly. And the decision that I made and communicated it with my team, and they were in agreement, was that I was not going to stand for president this year,
right,
in order to allow my colleague, President Hakainde Hichilema, who is already incumbent, to run for this election.
Right.
And said I would look forward, God giving me life and strength, I would look forward to the next election to stand. But for now, I have vested this trust and hope together with our political party that our brother and the political party he leads, the UPND, be given the opportunity to have a second term of office.
Right.
So we are in an alliance and we are working together to form government together in the next few months.
Okay.
And we are confident that those Zambians who really are pursuing prosperity and progress for our country are going to look at this alliance as being the only way in which to maintain and sustain the current economic growth that we are starting to see.
Right. That's it's good you're clear on both fronts, because I was going to ask you how that then helps you in terms of your political career. But since you've put it aside until 2031, God willing.
Yeah. Look, NNP is a political party.
Yeah.
UPND is a political party. We are currently in an alliance. But the alliance does not dissolve the political parties.
Right.
By us conceding that our colleagues go ahead of us, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of maturity and realizing that you can't always have what you want anytime you want it.
Right.
This is a nation. And for me to try to push that both of us will have to go into a contestation to decide who's going to be the presidential candidate in 2026, I think that it was a far-fetched dream. And this is the problem our colleagues in the opposition are facing. They're facing this problem because they're failing to decide who goes first. And all these delays are because they can't decide who goes first. And if they were going to make progress, they should have first dealt with that subject to say, okay, this gentleman will represent us, then let's talk about other things.
Right.
That's what we did in our alliance. We made a decision, HH will go before us in this election, and then we continue to talk on other issues, because otherwise we cannot make progress if we are all fighting for the same thing.
Right.
So basically I think that our party makes the decision as a unit. That's why you see that there is unity in our party, regardless of the fights we have had. The reason the people ask me, how come MMD continue to remain a voice and a force in terms of where they stand, it's because decisions are not made by an individual. They're not made by me alone. They're not even made just by the National Executive Committee. You'll notice that we went to a convention and brought together all these resolutions that we are now acting out at this point.
Right. I'll ask you, how do you make of the political landscape in general right now? If you go back a year, 2 years, maybe even the whole 4 years that the UPND has been in government?
Well, I think what is topping the political environment in our country remains the disorganization in the opposition camp. It's very, very unfortunate. I want to be clear that when PF was running for office prior to their coming into government in 2011, I made it very clear that two things. I said two things. Number one, I said that Zambians do not trust government with PF because they will take the gains we have made 20 years back. Because I felt that Mr. Sata was being supported not because they were sure he was going to run the economy of this country, but because they were angry at MMD. And they decided that because we're angry at MMD, we'll bring in Mr. Sata. I made it very clear that two things will happen. The economy will collapse, and number two, if and when Mr. Sata disappears from the scene, PF cannot continue as a political party because it was not anchored in any ethos that was collective. It was all hanging around President Sata. And I knew that it could not survive beyond Mr. Sata. So all those things now we are seeing them happen. We are seeing the fact that after Mr. Sata, President Sata left, there's never been order in the Patriotic Front because it was not an orderly political party. We also saw that even when ECL took over, the economy began to collapse. And it did collapse to the extent that we even failed to start to pay, to continue paying our international obligations of debt. And as the only country on the continent during that time that did that, the economy began to fall. And the Zambian people made a decision to remove the PF with a historic 1 million gap of votes, which has never happened since independence. So this is the scenario we have with the Patriotic Front. And even along the way, some of us have continued to advise the PF, not from a bad spirit, but from our own experience. I said to them, please don't allow, I said to President ECL, please don't go back into politics. Now that you have retired, stay home and enjoy the benefits of being a former president. I was insulted. The reasons I gave were clear. I said UNIP had lost power as a ruling party, and President Kaunda retired. Somehow some members insisted that he comes back, and UNIP has never recovered because of that intra-fight. I gave him the example of MMD itself, that President Rupiah Banda had retired. They elected me as the new president. When President Rupiah Banda decided to come back, there was a fracture of the MMD, and it could not recover. That's why the name had to be changed, because it was tarnished just like UNIP has been tarnished. And now we are seeing the PF doing exactly the same thing. I am surprised that the PF, I don't feel sorry for PF anymore. I used to in the beginning, but they don't learn from history. They have refused to learn from history. For some reason, they think they're special kids that will be exempted from the role of history. No, but now they can see that it's not going to happen. And I told them also that, look, with what is happening, forget about PF. First of all, they don't have time to recapture PF. PF has got about 4 factions in it. MMD had 2 factions in it. And it took us 9 years to correct that problem. These colleagues in PF only have 6 months to correct the crisis of 4 factions. That's why I agree with your former Secretary General Muila when he said, look, this thing is dead. Let's join other political parties or form another party. And they insulted him. He was correct. So those who are, when I listen to them talk about PF, what PF stands for, they are wasting time. And somebody needs to tell them, move on. That will not happen because you forgot to learn from history. So this is the status quo. in the opposition, and the only thing holding the opposition together is the hatred for HH. That's all. That's the only fuel they have. Outside that, even if they were to be given government, it will still be a disaster. Because personally, I've looked around the field of their presidential candidates. Either they're too young, inexperienced, they don't stand for anything. I don't see amongst them somebody who could have economic knowledge to restore or sustain the current economic streaks of the current generation. I just think that Zambians will be saddened if they chose to disobey the decision they made in 2021 to remove PF with 1 million votes, and to think that in 4 years, this disorganized political party has come up with better ideas. Zambians are toying with another renege of the progress that has already been made.
Right. I have hosted a number of leaders from the Patriotic Front, from whichever factions, and one thing that they all have said is that some of, or maybe a greater percentage of their, what we would say confusion is actually, they will say, Mingala by the ruling government and party, because there are so many areas where they have been, dribbled. Could that be true?
Well, listen, let me put it this way. Let's talk issues today, instead of us going around corners. For a culture to persist in the nation, somebody needs to create a framework within which that culture is sustained. The reason I can say that PF will not rise again, at least not as it used to be, is simple. It's because the infrastructure that has been put in place for the current culture in which political parties that were in the ruling are collapsing was strengthened by the Patriotic Front. They are the architects of the infrastructure that the system, it's not Hakainde Hichilema who is doing this to them. It's the infrastructure they created of destroying former ruling parties. That's why the police do what they do, because they are the pillars of the infrastructure. That's why other systems do what they do, because the PF created the infrastructure. And guess what? MMD and Nevers Mumba stand in the middle of the explanation of the infrastructure the Patriotic Front created. Almost everything they did to MMD, to the letter, is being done to them. So for them to say they're being disturbed but they are the ones who created the disturbances. And here we are today. They wanted us dead. They created the factions and paid those factions and put them on ZNBC to speak against us. They took over the party from us for 3 years and put in their own leaders. And it takes God, truth, and a committed membership to be where we are today. This is why we laugh when they say Nevers Mumba is a failure, is a weak leader. Well, let's see how strong they are. If they're going to survive the same things we went through and emerge the way we have emerged, strong, resolute, positioned for the next election and positioned for 2031. MMD, now called NNP, is much stronger. But PF cannot blame anybody for their problems, because the Bible is clear. You reap what you sow. They sowed this, and they are reaping it big time. I feel bad for them, but we can't change the word of God. The religions of the East, they call it karma. And you can't really stop it.
At the turn of government in 2021, you actually put a post. I read it. I remember it very well. You actually advised the current president, Hakainde Hichilema, to be wary of the youth over the years, because they are the biggest electorate that put him in power. And some of the points that you raised in there were that the youth are very impatient. If I remember, the youth are impatient. So you promised them this: if you don't act, they will quickly switch. So far in 4 years, do you think the youth are happy right now?
Well, listen, you can't make an entire demographic of people happy at the same time. But I can say that they have opportunities that they didn't have before. There are certain things that even us as MMD, at that time now NNP, we had decided that forming government will ensure that we reintroduce, number one, the national service. Why? Because we have so many of our young people on drugs, roaming the streets with nothing to do. And these are people that can be turned into useful assets for our country. And you can see that UPND has brought back the national service for our young people. And we think that is a very positive step, making sure that our young people have something to do. We are very thankful to God that they have taken that responsibility. We have also seen that this government has invested in free education precisely to deal with the same issue of giving knowledge to our young people so that they can participate in the growth of our economy and also in the governance of our country. If they are not educated, you throw on the streets of Zambia criminals, drug addicts, who do not vote because of reason, but they vote because they want a 20 way in order to buy more drugs.
Right.
And so by educating our young people, we are raising the bar and the standard of our people and of our country. So, and then we are also seeing that the employment that has been given to a lot of our young people coming out of school is amazing, because now they've got employment that is coming, and there's no government that can employ everybody. That is why the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy then, now the NNP, insisted that the private sector must drive the economy. They must be the ones to create jobs, because government can give you maybe up to 500,000 jobs at a time. That's it. And yet we have 20 million people. So government is not an employer that you can depend on. It doesn't have the capacity. So I think that a lot has been done for the young people, but young people are restless. And UPND has to be aware of this.
Yeah.
UPND has to be aware and improve on communication with the young people. Not only doing things for them, but engaging them so that the young people understand what actually is being done for them. And I think they'll play a major part in this coming election. But on the whole, I think that UPND is doing its best, but I don't think they're communicating enough, and that could be the Achilles heel for them.
Right. We had recent by-elections in Chawama, which was scoped by FDD, and then also the mayoral elections in Kasama. Both elections, in your view, would you say, you know, they're setting us up for what would be 2026? I actually recall you made a statement in Chawama that the outcome of the Chawama elections will tell us what will happen in August 2026.
Let me actually start with that which you have just mentioned of what I said in Chawama.
Yeah.
In Chawama, when we were campaigning, I said what will happen here in Chawama is going to set the tone for the 2026 election.
Correct.
So I implored the UPND to work hard and push for a win in that election. And I noticed that later on, some of our opponents used that against me when the UPND lost, that Nevers was lying. Now what he said is that what happened in Chawama is going to happen in 2026.
I saw that.
Meaning that the UPND will lose. But that's...
Clarify that.
Yeah. Look, politics is a science. The UPND was nowhere near in Chawama. Tassila won by so many votes against the UPND candidate. So this is the only time and the first time UPND has performed in the manner that they performed in Chawama.
Right.
Never before has UPND ever gotten those votes. So what has happened? It means that UPND in Chawama has won, and PF in Chawama technically and scientifically has lost because their numbers have come down.
In terms of numbers, yes.
So when you say it's indicative of what's going to happen in August, that's what I mean. With those heightened numbers in Chawama, which they didn't have in the last election, you add them to the numbers that are static in other areas of this country for UPND, they will end up with more numbers. So basically, to say that, never said that if they lose there, then they'll lose the election. That's not it. When you go to Kasama, for instance, a similar development took place.
Yeah.
It is the PF stronghold, okay? And you notice that the PF still won that election, but their numbers are not the same. The numbers are not the same. I mean, lost that election.
They lost elections, yes.
But if you look at the numbers of all opposition political parties put together, they are above the number of the UPND.
Right.
So basically, they have kept their numbers there. The only reason why the opposition lost is because too many of them went in there.
To your point, yeah.
Exactly. So the only thing I like about these two by-elections is that for the first time, we can have elections that are conducted in a free and fair and violent-free atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think Zambians should be happy about that. So Zambians won in the last 2 by-elections.
Right. I've got 2 questions. I'll start with this one. With Kasama election and its results, from a tribal perspective, Kasama has set the tone. I'll use your words, I'll steal your words to say it's okay to vote despite looking at tribe and region. Looking at Kasama having been a stronghold for the PF, and from what some people would say that ideally it should go to any party but UPND because of where the UPND is perceived to be strong, which is Southern Province. But it set the tone. So what do you make of those elections in terms of any other elections happening countrywide? Do you expect such a change where strongholds, UPND strongholds, will also show that any other party can actually also gain in numbers?
A lot of political parties have started with strongholds. But it's up to those individual political parties to make a decision whether to just reinforce themselves in their own stronghold and get maximum numbers to assure them of victory, or to start to penetrate areas that belong to other political parties. For instance, we have a situation where in PF, Mr. Sata believed that he was going to win just by concentrating on the Northern Bloc. And he didn't really care about other parts of the country that much because he knew that it may take him a long time to penetrate.
Yes.
And guess what? He actually won with that philosophy. But I think that it remains for everyone to recognize the fact that if a party in the Northern Bloc, which is considered to be a Northern Bloc party, for a lack of a better word, begins to enter Southern Province and begin to explain themselves in Southern Province and begin to talk about what they will do for the people in Southern Province, they can actually even break the stronghold of the UPND there. You understand?
Yeah.
Because people and human beings don't belong to another human being. People don't belong to one political party for the rest of their lives. Remember, Southern Province used to be the stronghold for the MMD.
Yes.
And MMD was led by somebody from Luapula, Frederick Chiluba.
Yes.
And yet, Southern Province was a stronghold. But, when Mazoka came, some people think that Mazoka won the Southern Province because he was Tonga. Mazoka worked like a horse. I worked with him in an alliance at one point when we were trying to work up an alliance that we were trying to put together. In all the alliance meetings, he would attend one maybe in a month or in 2 months, and the rest of the time he was inside Southern Province, campaigning until he took Southern Province.
Right.
So the point I'm trying to make is that Zambia is open. So to sit here and blame one tribe for doing this, go there and get in, infiltrate, and change the minds of those people. Those people belong to God. They don't belong to Hakainde Ichilema. The people in Northern Province belong to God. They don't belong to Nevers Mumba or Michael Sata. And the people in Eastern Province belong to God. They don't belong to ECL or Rupia Banda. But yes, they came from there. But if we can prove to them that we have something better for them than even their own person, Zambians will change, but only that it takes time. So for me, I have never looked at my political career based on tribe. And I will never do that.
Yeah.
Because the brains we need to develop this country are all over this country, are not limited in one area of our country. So for me, I think the Kasama one simply says that the UPND has been working hard to penetrate a stronghold that was not theirs, and they should not be insulted for it. I think that those of us in the Northern Province should also go to Southern Province and try our luck, for a lack of a better word. I think that that would be my comment on what happened.
Right. Let's go on to tribal remarks. You've mentioned there are some leaders that we have, they like pushing the tribal remark agenda. I'll be open here. Last week I hosted, Mr. Winter Kabimba, and he called out Honorable Chimba Kambwili for whatever he said during the funeral of the wife to His Royal Highness Chitimukulu. What's your take on this with that sort of tone? Because I think it's gone countrywide. If you go on social media, people are calling him out for always pushing that agenda, like he's paging going back to, into incarceration. What's your view on leaders that always push his tribal agenda going into these elections?
I have been consistent on this matter. any political leader that pushes tribe is politically and morally bankrupt. If the only thing I can lean on is my tribe to become relevant, to be voted for, then I am bankrupt. And I think tribe is the worst pillar to use for electability. Because if all that you present to the Zambian people is the rightness of your tribe, then the Zambian people do not deserve you. You don't deserve to lead them. What Zambians need is a person with a heart for the whole nation, a person with a plan that if you start to work on it, all Zambians participate in it. Mm-hmm. The plan should not only involve people from one region. The blessings should not only be enjoyed by people in one region. It's the same thing with the UPND.
Right.
UPND has to work very hard as well to ensure that they don't give any reason to the rest of the country that they could be accused of tribalism. UPND has a huge job in the way they do their appointments, in the way they align themselves, in the way they speak, in the way they react to the accusations of tribalism.
Right.
They have to be extremely careful that they remain focused on the whole nation and not to succumb. Because as long as Zambians feel that what they are suspecting about UPND, when they look at it, it's true, it's very difficult to convince them otherwise. So UPND has to itself shake itself to let them know that anything people are talking about, they're talking about it because they have nothing else to talk about.
Right.
But I think it's the same for the opposition, that you cannot base your relevance to the Zambian people on the fact that you are Bemba, on the fact that you are Ngoni, on the fact that you are, Lozi. No, you have to base your suitability on the fact that you qualify to be leader of the nation and leader for all tribes, leader for all regions.
Right. If you can allow me to open phone lines right now, let's rope in our listeners and viewers. 0979-192-485, 0955-997-997. For those that want to pose questions or even contribute to this lovely discussion, maybe you can actually put on your headsets, sir, so that you're able to listen in, to the callers that come through. 0955-997-997, 0979-192-192. We have a caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Welcome to the Political Podcast. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
I am General Chongo calling from Kawe.
General Chongo from Kawe. Please go ahead quickly.
My leader, Nevers Mumba, good morning.
Chongo Sumulishani.
Kale wali kamkwai ba Nevers Mumba ni kwata kwa mepusho. Wanu Voshe history iya Zambia abana MMD iya tekele for 20 years. Why have you changed the name? Because we need a history, because the MMD brought democracy. Secondly, Bakaramba imweni mwashima people, when things are not okay in this government, you need to tell the president when things are not good, because a lot of things in our country, they are not going well by the promise the president promised. Lastly, leadership Nevers Mumba kuba humble kuvena Zambia, because a lot of youth who were vakavapera ama license lero chiri ichabulanda muletu mabashirika. What has happened today for the manifesto of the president Yakainde Ichilema? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, General Chongo. So we'll pick up another call. Good morning.
Hello, morning.
Good morning. Please speak up. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Okay, Moses calling you from Liwala.
Moses from Liwala. Please go ahead.
Mumba Mauka.
Mkwai Twashibuka Mulishani.
I will say we know that.
Okay.
certificate kambe ko so kusima konkani tamba dala konkani I think ni kumbuka mu kapam 2021 mnankala po kapam alliance na mnankala po master po like mnankala po alliance na PF.
No, we never did that.
Okay. Nandira puno mkamba pa tribe kyao sifunika kushama politics ya tribe pari yawe bakamba pa tribalism manje hadi wa president vijana kamba southern province mkamba po bwanji kwa zinaona mga na ndeke musha jamaa yo kamba timu kapena simza votera UPND mkapotera nangu simzamba kukwera mamoto kwenda ku Lusaka so ni chani nja yede shemushe ulo bwanji kwa zimali max yenangu ya nona mgama ita division mshaba.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. I'll allow you to take those two calls, sir, before we rope in others. General Chongo and the gentleman from Libala.
But General, I think that Mula Umfokfe Turela and Dapari appreciate your question because I took a lot of time to try to address the reason why the name was changed.
Yeah.
He's bemoaning the fact that we can't change the name of a political party that is supposed to be in our history.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. It's in our history. Nobody can erase MMD from history. But as an electable entity where Zambians can elect for it to form government again, it had destroyed itself.
Right.
Selfish people that rose up wanting for themselves to be the leaders because they can't allow one to be a leader because they said he's a pastor. This party can only be led by somebody who's not a pastor. So we're going to remove him against the constitutional provisions. These are the people that you should be talking to because they tarnish the name of the party. And even if anybody else came to try to lead it, they will still not go anywhere with it because people have given up on MMD as a name.
Right.
Example, UNIP. And I said that already. And so if you're looking for a sentimental party, we have one left for you, which is UNIP. So you should be very, very happy that UNIP is there, celebrate it. It has not gone anywhere. But obviously UNIP is not going to form government again. But we are determined to form government at some point, and we are supposed to be a political movement that moves forward instead of living in the past. So that's that about Mr. Chongo. But thank you for your question. Things are not okay. I must tell the president when things are not going well. Yes, that is absolutely correct. Zambians know what Nevers Mumba stands on many issues. And I want to assure the Zambians that those same things I hate, injustice, those things I hate of tribalism, those things I hate like corruption, I hate them with a passion up to this day. And if there's anything happening in the government where I believe this president needs to be made aware, I make him aware. And if I have not yet made him aware about anything, I will still make him aware.
Right.
Because that's what it means to be in an alliance. And if I was not in an alliance, I would have no access to talking to him about things that Zambians are concerned about. So because of that, I don't have to stand on an anthill to condemn him when I can talk to him in private. The day you hear me speak against HH on the anthill, it's because it may be only a time when he says he doesn't want to listen to me in private.
Right.
Then that's the only time, because then he gives me a license to go and express myself, to the Zambian people so that they know that I hold a different view from him.
Right.
But for now, I am not justified to go out there and stand on an anthill when I'm with him in the same house.
Yeah.
And I can talk to him over dinner as a family and say this thing is not good.
Right.
And people are not happy.
Right.
Then he had another one that what has happened to the humble government of Mr. Haga in Chilema promised mining licenses, and to the young people now they have chased them from where they were. Zambians need to understand that to govern a country is about order. The government must be concerned about the welfare, the health, and the safety of its people.
Right.
God, yes, has come. But if we just throw everybody to go there, do what?
Yeah.
Nobody is controlling the guns that are in that area. It's the survival of the fittest. That philosophy works amongst animals or a society without leadership. What this government is trying to do is to provide security for its citizens, a system and order on how to exploit our natural resources. Because if we leave it the way it is, it's not even Zambians who are going to benefit. We are going to create another Congo We are going to create another Eastern Congo where now cartels with guns and wars will begin there because foreigners will come there with weapons to start to kill our own people. And the government is saying, no, we are not going to allow Zambia to become a failed state. We are going to remove all of you, give you proper licenses with cooperatives, and make sure that you are organized and following the rules that we have set for everybody. That's how you run an economy. That's how you run a civilized society. So those who are saying, no, they should not talk to them, let them just continue, those are not leaders. Those are not leaders. They are doing politics. They have no clue what they are talking about. Order, security, and discipline in how we run our affairs is number one. Very quickly.
The gentleman from Liwala, referred to HH's comment in Southern Province in relation to what Kambwili said.
Before I go to that one, he raised the issue of saying that MMD had been in an alliance with PF. I want to say it for the 100th time. We have never been in an alliance with PF. Yes, there were some that were taken from us, and you know them by name. They went into their own alliance, but that was not MMD. MMD legally was in our hands, and we were never in an alliance with the Patriotic Front. People like to peddle those things to satisfy their own ulwambo, but it's not true. I think that when it comes to what you said the president said in Southern Province, I think that every statement a president makes is highly scrutinized because he's the #1 person in the country and sets the tone in the governance of the country. And I think that although I didn't listen to the whole statement, I would like for the Zambian people maybe to understand what the president was trying to say. But if the president was trying to fuel instability on that particular one, I would not agree with him. But I do not believe that that's what he wanted to do, and I cannot speak for him. But if he was trying to bring instability in the country, then I would condemn it. Up to even now, I would condemn it. But I believe that he was trying to give an example of what he himself had experienced prior to forming government. And I do not think there's anything wrong for a president or any Zambian for that matter to explain an experience he has gone through. And one thing I'm seeing amongst opposition parties, they don't want Hichilema to talk about what he went through. No, just govern. That's why you won the election. Don't talk about your time in Kabwe maximum prison. Don't talk about how your house was broken into and people defecated in your house. Don't talk about those things. He's a human being. He has a history. Those things are in history, in his history book. So for you to tell him you can't talk, where is his freedom of expression? Where is his ability to recite the past in order to compare it with the future? And I think Zambians need to be fair. I have gone through a lot of things as Nevers Mumba, and to be told I can't talk about it is unfair. We have to talk about our experiences while we are moving forward. We are not saying we want to repeat the experiences, but we cannot forget them, because if we forget them, we are going to repeat those experiences. So for me, I think that HH should be given the right to express himself, first of all, as a citizen of this country, on what he actually experienced. It's his democratic right, and it's in his place to talk about it.
We have another caller. Good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, let's pick up this caller. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
I think we have lost him.
I know, they're listening to themselves, I can tell. Hello, good morning.
You're talking to Mike from Kawe.
Hello, Mr. Mike from Kawe. Please go ahead quickly so that we can give a chance to other callers.
Thank you. Morning, Mr. Mumba.
Good morning. It looks like Kawe is listening today.
Yes, we are following.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Please go ahead quickly.
I want to thank Mr. Mumba for what I want to thank you, Mr. President, for what you have said. All what you have spoken is the truth that is happening in the country. Now, I just want to say on that issue of tribal voting. In Southern Province, there is no tribalism. Only those people, the same presidential candidates who are supposed to go and campaign properly there, they don't reach up to the people, no. They just go on radio stations, whatever. You know, Tongas don't believe in town. They are massive in villages, not in town. Now these people, they don't reach on those areas where populations are. This is why they are not even known in Southern Province. A person who go and campaign deeply in Southern Province where people are, you see, you raise up and you be voted for. So they shouldn't say that, no, they just vote for one person. No, there is no that issue about tribalism. They don't know where the populations of Southern Province are located. That's the fact. I thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have another caller. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Wom Sanje calling you from Kanyama Central, Zambia.
Wom Sanje from Kanyama. Please go ahead quickly so that we give a chance to other callers.
Asokoleli mwako bwaji.
Chilipo ziko mukaimu.
Ya asokoleli turumverera mulungu azikudalisani.
Thank you, thank you.
Ine President ni madabwa. If opposition ya military naye kaya inachokera kuti kaya inatopewa kuti yamene sifuna kuona muntu kupola, sifuna kuona bantu kuleka kufa, lingaliro yawo chabe ni vintu voipa kuti vichitike muziko yawo, ndiye kuti ni bantu babwanja. Tinali kulira malaiti apa, malaiti ya malaiti vayabweza futi chaipati wayapesa kuti yachokera kuti vintu vibwerele ya hivu vabwerela vi konti chapu inokuliva opposition vamene tuli nawo ava president asembe sindimwe wamene mupasa ma checks and balances yoonekera sembe ziko yaenda kuti then muntu ukapona usapote vamene ava ba president varundire ive milisi ya iwayo walundira mapo mafamazi tizafa njala wasafo bachepe kufora government ikure milisi chimanga choendera chose yai futi chaipa bakonda mafamazi ni bali party kasi ma position vamene bali twina wa
Wom Sanje ndisane
tayamigira marume kubwera ku tribal chani uko kuti vavota chani wamene achokera ukamba uja simungaende ku Southern Province kwamene valima mukawauze kuti tuzagulirani majombo muzangala makomanda wa market wewe yawa amene message kuchabauze ni kuti tuzakukumbirani matamu tuzakuleterani misami mikwambe fertilizer land tuzakusakirani mafarm land ye message kujasanda na majombo yaka akata
zikomo Wom Sanje zikomo. Hello, yeah, well, let's speak one more. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Master Banji in studio.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Amake Angela Antonio ku Garden Chirolo.
Amake Angela.
Nevers Mumba, ndira gabe Mumba.
You are Dr. Nevers Mumba, eh?
Muri Banji wa Nevers Mumba.
Yeah, it's libeno kai mamai.
Mavuto chabe na boma yanu ya mene ya UPND. Nevers Mumba. Kokuza nchabe chirungamu. Ngamukonde semapuwa Zambian sembe muti kambirako waina kambaso mukabwera muno compound ro muzunguluke kuyambira Kanyama kuti mavuto amene tifacing ya akulu yakwe bati mwese muti kambirako. I think mwe leaders amene tili na imwe manje ma interest ndimo mukazipeza ko tufuro kusogolo mukazinkala kona ndrama noti semapuwa Zambian bamu mpano UPND yani 4 years kudia masoya pieces 4 years rotating apa batipasa ko tumalai vanachirondera kuma units mukagula ma units chuwa ni simutifaka kapati apa boma ni kambati vintu vambochipa mputomola mablandi ya ungamine sari mu community awe Nevers Mumba kasi kambiranko ni semapuwa Zambian osa zikonda imwe mweka ukaba chape chirungami
zikomo makya
boma yanu ya UPND ni ole pera ola mu support brand come 13th August aba bantu tibato sapo because simuti ganizira semapuwa Zambia
zikomo makya Angela. All right, let me allow you to respond. Maybe you'll start with Amaki Angela because she's broken it down, and then we go to Musanje.
Yes, well. Angela, Tamvela, Wakamba. The problem that we have is that anyone who feels that people like myself and our party, the NNP, working with the UPND, means that we are not contributing to representing the needs of our people to our alliance. That is a lie. We live with the people. My relatives, abantu besu bonse baba everywhere. Kukanyama, kuchawama, nani alikwata abantu kuli. Fyonse fe tule pitamu fwe bantu wa Muzambia, bonse tule fyumfwa. Lileba PF bali mu government. Yonse ama problems mulela ndapo, epo yali no kuchilapo. Echo mwaba funisha mu power. Pantu ubunga wali ambo kushupa. Indalama shali ambo kushupa. Not kuli bali muguteko. Bali muguteko bale owa mundalama. But abali panshapa, they didn't have money. And that is why you voted them out. Don't forget, Zambians. This thing of forgetting as a means of moving forward is what has kept Africa behind. If I'm what the experience before we were keshapo. So I want to assure about Angela, ukuti mukwai mayo, idori ashimulanda, mulanda fye, tulanda po fye pe. Making sure ukuti la bantu besu bakwate fide fwaiko. Mwalanda pali load shedding. Load shedding, the government hakainde ichilema. Load shedding was terrible. Then we started to improve that power came back. Then we had the drought. When the drought came, load shedding became worse again. And you noticed umuntu you win a president. Abomba ubushikuna kasibano kula tibanende tubombele pamo tulete amalaiti muchalo chesu pantu nikale problem yambile mu MMD twalikwete mu PF twalikwete ama economic activities ama business ama mine yesu na ya kulechi nechine mu Zambia nombo kufuma amalaiti nikumo kuine tayafula, which means tulakula kwate a problem lionse. This president has decided to bring in so much solar. She's bringing in coal, hydroelectric, so that we solve this problem. Lelo na wasumi na ba Angela mashu yabo bala ndiat numba na yambo kuisa kwa malaiti. You see, so yaisa malaiti, it's a problem. Nomba kulandati nomba yaisa
the units
yakoso mutengo kabidi malaiti yalikuwa to mutengo. So let me put it this way. I think to answer by Angela, I want to echo the words of Musanje, who is asking on the usefulness of the current opposition leaders. I think that his concern is that anything bad is what they want to see happen. There was an issue of President Hakainde Hichilema being in Choma. When they came up with a story that he was unwell. He was unwell. He has been flown to South Africa. Now they have moved him to India in the night. He collapsed 3 times. So these colleagues, now people are wondering, so do you want the president dead so that what? So that you take over? We also wish you dead so that another one takes over. Is that how we're going to govern ourselves? So people now are asking, this opposition is like we smell for just the evil against our opponents. I think we should move away from that. And Zambians are watching. The load shedding has been there for a long time because of the issues that I've explained myself. Now that it's load shedding is being resolved, there is a problem that umutengo wakula. Taukulila no kukula yo. Pantu wa malai techo umutengo wa chepele, nda yale isa 3 hours per day. Nomba yale isa 12 hours per day. It means that you pay more. So the answer is for you, kushimia kwa malaiti, so that you pay the same amount that you were paying, so that you don't abuse amalaiti. So I think that Mamusanjana Batushita guide Palida, I will not say too much. Let me go to Mike in Kabwe.
Yes.
And I'll only talk about, thank you so much for the kind words, Mike, that you gave. Any political party, and I can assure you of this, any political party, regardless of its origin, whether it's Eastern Province or Northern Province, Eastern Province kula fuma political parties. Abango nitabapanga ma political parties pantu ngalanda pomailo. Lelo ichikala machakuti nangu yafuma ku Northern Province political party. Ngayaya mbo kuingila mu Southern Province with a true message they will get votes in Southern Province.
Right.
Because those are Zambians like anybody else. What appeals to them is not political party or Hakainde Chilema. What appeals to them is their own personal needs. So if you can focus their personal needs, it may take you time, but they are going to turn, because they can throw HH under the bus. They can throw UPND under the bus if somebody goes there and gives them more than HH is giving them, or gives them more than HH is promising them. That's just the way politics is. So even as we talk now, our colleagues who are saying the Southern Province, they vote only for HH and UPND, they have not even delved into Southern Province. They haven't gone there to do a serious campaign.
Right.
And if they keep talking like that, nothing will change, and they're going to get the same results.
Right.
So I think that we need to move away from this tribally inclined discussion, talk about development.
Right.
Talk about making Zambia the leading nation on the continent. That's what New Nation Party is all about, to recreate this nation so that it can become a #1 nation and an example nation, not only as to what a Christian nation looks like on the continent, but what a productive and rich copper, gold, cobalt country looks like.
Right.
We've got all that, and New Nation Party is determined to raise the flag and the standard of our nation so that it may become a nation to be admired by the rest of the world.
Right. We have another caller. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, we lost that caller. We pick up another one. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Come on, Darren.
Hello, good morning.
Darren, from Kafu. Mumba Machuken.
Yeah, your name again from Cabo?
Wabu Kiasi. Kuranda kofi pa kiasi mwatira na kuba chimakambu. Kambu kuranda Tanya. Wanto le wakan sisi kura kaireko. Kura kura president la baranje kwa uvengi. Ndio mwana ndike bwi. Ndiye mwaje kwa msala president amureba kwa. Maraba mwemba la kurata baranje kiye kwa wale mbana la kupata. Basi kwa kutaka region ku. Tamanje kwa mfimu. Hata alichakama. Sawa mwana kwa mai. Tapata mwala ndile. Hata polisi huyu kanjiri sana na maisha tu kwa polisi ndio wako. Wala vya dinga mtaka festival bali yo kwa ndio kuma festival ni. Kuma festival kama hivi. Because era kama pepo na wajiri mazo kwa UPND za toa hiyo. Basi ngorelewa chinka. Basi kama ile kana zambe kufunga mimi. Sasa murelewa wena kabeba. Maya ya uwe metaanza kati ufisi. Kama murelewa.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
So, well, I didn't understand this guy's question, but I hope he's talking about the fact that the Bembas, we have talked about them, but we haven't talked about the Tongas.
He's actually saying that he's not satisfied by you saying that the president, you haven't said much about the president's view on his statement when he was in Choma, but you are castigating the likes of the Cambridges. So that's basically where it's coming from. But his line was not very clear. Yeah. So maybe let's take up this call and then we can carry on. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning, how are you, sir?
I'm okay, and how are you?
Please, thank you. Tell us your name and you're calling us from.
Mumba, Mabuga.
Kaboto, Mabuka.
Please tell us your name and you're calling us from.
Yes, this is William Ngenda from Bowden.
Okay, please go ahead, Mr. Ngenda.
Yes, Vamumba, I think it should be last year or the other year, 2024, Kwenzeko my allegation to say my former vice president are being paid. So, sinizi wanganivazona mungatuzo ti ni ndalama za bwanyi zemufora wanganivaboza munga shitenani.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, my brother.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and you're calling us from, and quick with your contribution. Vashmalani from Kitwe. Please go ahead.
How to refer we know Bananga Balishani?
Kwa pastor ile mulero ndolola mufiri mulero ande chinka. Ike mulero anda imo mula fola ku UPND. So ensonga mwamuna mulinge mwakwata ekisinka mulelanda basauzen kulya amataibo ekoyava kwanda ekisinka ibafe nenani kupotera kyo omuntu waabwe sitanensi nenani mulekwata ekisinka mule muna bano yesu mavoti pale sankanya ubampulako bampelako yena takwave sinangu unga bomba shani so natakwe bati mwaisapo mulelanda ekisinka bakimapepo ukwe bati mungapo ekyalo kyesu nombanga mulekita mumbali landi wakwe bati mulakola ku UPND mulajja mulekuta abena Zambia balina ensala abengi so nga mubashima pepo mufuna wakwata ekisinka mulelanda bantu buchuchu batwitemu abanyeso aba buchuchu bwakwe batonso mwina Zambia ale ilishanya malo tukakuisa ngabana beso akakuisa so efintu fima bashima pepo mule kwata ekisinka notaka kakatiyo pantu inentanda kwata nenani usere nenani umuntu yawe so please then
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rashmalani. We'll take one more course and then I think we'll allow you to respond. Then we can close the show. Good morning.
Hello, Mulishani Mkwai.
Mulishani, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Mkwai, never Bana Peter SOS.
Bana Peter SOS, please go ahead.
Mkwai, Nevers Mumba Mulishani.
Bana Peter Mulishani.
Au ndifibu ino isarafi.
Au chachi.
Nevers Mumba. Umaltemo mazambiani mulimo bashima pepo filike mwaimina fepati shinga mwala tulandirako mwabe fa president kwa chabombere nufu mwale bara abantu apele nubunga bwa 50 kwa chamwabala ile noti mwasamu kwa support obu fipati mumule kwa tempia nifungala ndaba fuma patu mera mleikuta olefutu lechula UPND na bafi bafi okubomba tribalism we bakwata bera mafuta kuli bena kuli bambichibi UPND na bafi okubomba tapefu wale bombolo fimo twaikhala ma teachers ayapa mapepa yo twaikhala doctor ayapa mapepa bashire moneka UPND na bafiro okubomba tapefu wale bombaga kukonga mafiro fuma beba wapela amadlizer asuma wetu matamu support bachilimbe fyabu fifota bale bomba bebe no fubale drive fo balera fo babombe amalaiti aya tapenda fo batupela amalaiti tamuda yote timanda chamfwe amalaiti afuri fe kudula afuri fe kudula pali chishi bali twati kudubaya puna mvula amalaiti bala kwa tena kwa tama solution ama solution ngako takusalunda amalaiti malaiti na balundo obubi lo amalaiti batupela mwana ama election ya leisa tote kwa chakulo tutumalaiti bya kwa tibali wina 20 mo August tukaleka ikawa fini blackout wale family blackout amalaiti bale oh ala afyo gombaga chisho kuningalani.
Okay, Wana Peter, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Wana Peter. All right, sir, I think I'll close phone lines. They will not stop coming, but maybe to allow you to respond to the ones that we've got so far, then we can end the show.
Thank you so much. Wana Peter, now for Mashumwalanda, lekeni njasukeko. In fact, it's not only Wana Peter that has got this question.
Yeah. Even Bashmalan.
Balela ndokutila I've given a blind eye to the so-called tribalism of the UPND and condemned the so-called tribalism
of the opposition.
Yeah. I think that Zambians have not been very kind with my type of politics or to understand it. I provide solutions. I do not provide cheap politics. I am probably one of the longest serving political leaders and church leaders in this country. And I'm not going to do anything that is cheap, that is going to be for political reasons. I want us to build a nation on love, on unity, and on commitment to who we are as a people.
Right.
In this program itself, the first statement I made was to UPND. You were listening,
yes,
Joel.
Yeah.
I said, UPND, don't do anything or give any impression that is going to make Zambian people believe you are practicing tribalism. Don't give the Zambians a reason when they look at your leadership, your appointments, your statements, how you come out. You should not give the Zambians the impression that you are peddling tribalism. That was my first statement. So what politics that are going to give Zambians a better life? So I think I've answered Bashmala na Peter.
And I think Angela.
Yeah. William Ngenda.
Yes.
I want to correct William Ngenda. I said I'm a former vice president. Yale
eating, yeah.
Yale eating. the former vice presidents, it's not in the constitution that they get paid from government. But the former vice presidents that have been appointed as special envoys to the president, they have been given special privileges because they are being used by this government to represent this president in different areas. A job that was originally being done by former presidents. But as you can see, there's not a single former president in this country. So the president, in his wisdom, has appointed a number of former vice presidents to become special envoys. So if they are getting any benefit at any point, they are getting the benefit not as former vice presidents, they are getting it as special envoy to the president. And this is a position that is everywhere in every country. The president has senior people that he uses to represent him on different matters. And that is basically what it is. So to say that, Muledia, that's why you are not talking, I think that is a bit cheap. Whatever you're going through, my brother, we are all facing the same thing. We are living in the same Zambia, facing the same battles, paying the same price for the electricity, paying the same price for mini meal. There is no one exempted because he's in the UPND alliance, therefore the mini meal is cheaper. No, everybody is paying the same. So please do not belittle this thing. But the last word I want to say is to encourage the Zambian people. We understand what you're going through. We understand the pain. We understand the difficulties that you're going through. Our responsibility and my responsibility as an alliance partner is to ensure that on the table of discussion with the UPND, with President Hakainde Hichilema, is to constantly remind our colleagues about the promises that were made, about the challenges the Zambians are facing, and to ensure that we work together to make the lives of the Zambian people better. So no one here is eating and forgetting about what they are supposed to be doing. There's no eating. There's more work than eating, at least from where I stand. And I encourage Zambians to continue to pray for our country, that unity can drive us forward to make sure that prosperity comes to our land.
Right. Well, I guess those are your closing remarks. I wish you were facing my camera.
I know, yes.
Yeah, but it's fine. Maybe as we wind up, sir, what is your take? I know you mentioned that we, at this current point, we have no former vice president. Former president. What is your take with regards to the standoff between government and the Lungu family over the burial of our late former president, Edgar Lungu? I know this Thursday, the family needs to take their appeal to court, or else, the former president's body has to be repatriated.
We have, as NNP, we have had one position from the beginning.
Right.
It has never changed. What is going on is unnecessary. Everyone, including the family, agrees that the body of President ECL must be interred here on his soil. I've talked to the PF people. I've talked to some of the people that are close to the family. They feel the same. President Hakainde Hichilema and the government have also made it very, very clear that the rightful place for President ECL to be buried is Zambia. So both sides are agreed. They are raising the issue of the wishes of President ECL as being the hindrance from his body coming back. I have never heard Hakainde Hichilema stand out there and say, No, he has never made such a statement. All that he has said is that we want his body to come. So this issue of saying, no, when they bring the body, the president will see the body. Who told them that? Is that what the church has said? He hasn't said that. I think that we should not allow the late president to be remembered as somebody who was buried in bitterness. If President ECL was alive, I don't think he would wish that they be this standoff. It doesn't look good for his legacy, his family, and for Zambia as a whole. I think that if anyone has heard President Hakainde Hichilema insist, I'll say this is a careless statement, but all of us are human beings. We are allowed to make careless statements and pay for it. You know, the relationship that existed between President Hakainde Hichilema and ECL, I cannot, term it as the best of relationships. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. It was there for to see.
It was a professional relationship. Yeah. He was president and Hakainde was opposition leader. But they were not friends that would go out and play golf together.
Right.
Like President ECL used to say, that Guy Scott is not my friend because we don't drink together.
Right.
It's the same thing. There was no friendship between these two. So if you were to ask that President HH, please, you must attend the funeral of ECL, HH has to use courage and some energy to even go to this funeral.
Right.
Because there's nothing there. The president does not need to be there because they had no relationship, but he's obligated by the law to ensure that he facilitates for the burial of his predecessor.
Right.
So for me, these people said he should not see it. Who told them he wants to see the body? Who? There was no friendship, personal friendship, to warrant that. And I don't know, I haven't discussed this with the president, but I have never heard him say, you know, Mona never seen me when I'm dying to see the body before we bury it. No. But what I see is a responsibility as head of state to ensure that his predecessor is given the honor that is due to him.
Right.
Whether he's going to look at the body or not, I doubt it myself.
Right.
And I think the Zambian people understand that to remain president, to remain effective, and to bring unity in this country, it does not depend on HH seeing the body of ECL.
No.
What HH wants is the body of the former president to be buried in respect and honor at Embassy Park.
Right. As we wind up, sir, something that's close to your heart, Zambia shall be saved. Where are we with that? I want you to tell us, are we saved or we are still in...
You know what, Yowela, thank you so much. I feel as one of the most privileged leaders in this country. I'm one of the most satisfied leaders in this country.
Right.
Because I came into public life with a vision, and the vision is Zambia shall be saved.
Yeah.
I've lived with that vision since I was 17. I'm 65 now. So I know there are many leaders in the country, both in church and in politics, that are there that are wanting to become presidents.
Yeah.
But they have no personal ethos. They have no dream that drives them. My dream has been the Christianization of my country,
right,
where the values of Christianity are embodied within the political structure of our country and the social structure of our country. 65 years later, as I look back, I am one of the very few leaders that can look back and see the fulfillment of that dream.
Fantastic.
I have seen Zambia become a Christian nation in my lifetime.
Right.
So, sir, some people have said, well, Nevers, you're not president yet, so you have failed. You have not. No. I think that success does not need for you to have a title of some sort. I think it's what we have injected into the body of Zambia for the past 46 years of my ministry.
Right.
I look back and I see the marks of my work, of my ministry, on the very life of the Zambian people. So for me, if they say, have you succeeded or not, let's ask the Lord to make that determination.
Right.
But I'm a very, very fulfilled leader. If Jesus called me home tomorrow, I do not think that there will be the feeling that Nevers has failed. But you can even be a president and be a failure, especially if you don't carry a dream.
Right.
And therefore, for me, the presidency is the icing on the cake. But really, what I have done in this country, I'm very thankful to God who gave me strength, gave me grace, and provided the anointing to do what we did.
Great. That's a very good answer. Thank you so much for coming to the Political Podcast, sir. We hope to have you again as we go into election season.
Thank you so much, Owela, and to the listeners, thank you for being patient with us.
Right. All right, that was the Political Podcast with me, Owela, and of course I had Dr.